So hello and welcome back to another video of the Angular Live course. In this video, we are going to learn everything there is about routing and navigation in Angular. And this would also help you in other programming languages or other frameworks, I should say. If you're using React, Vue, doesn't matter. The concepts of routing are pretty much similar across all the major front-end frameworks I've ever used. So this video will take you from the beginning and will make you reach a step where you will be able to write advanced routes. You will be able to pass data. You will know about lazy loading and how to do that specifically with Angular in this video. But there's a lot to learn, so let's just dive right into it. If you remember, this was our application. In our last week, we were able to display crypto prices. We used Angular material list. We used services to pass data from service to component. So that is how we built this application. If you're interested to know more, there's a playlist for Angular Live course. We come on every week on either Saturday or Sunday, and you can hop on the train while the course is still live. Otherwise, you'll be left out watching pre-recorded videos in the end. So, and this is the GitHub page for this project, which is also shared in the link down below. As you can see, I have multiple branches here. The main branch will always have the latest code. Other branches like week 3, week 4 will have incremental code. So let's say you're watching this video is week 4. And if you want to just see the code for this video, you go to week 4. If you want to see the code for previous video, you go to week 3. And the main branch, which was earlier called the master branch, will have all the latest code, the final end product of our project. So in our project, what I want to do is I want to do a couple of things. As you can see, if I open the console, you will see if I go to a route, like a random route, nothing really happens, right? I should be able to tell my users that this page is incorrect or is not allowed or something like that. So we'll do that. Also, I want to be able to click on any of these cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, Binance, and I want to be able to go to that page and display that cryptocurrency's details, because eventually what we want to do is we want to show a chart which will show all the historical data of that cryptocurrency. Okay, so let's get right into our application. If you remember, I created this Angular application in week number 1, in video 1 of this course, and I did not add routing in this. You can actually add routing since the day 1 of your Angular application. But because I did not, I'll add it in front of you. I'll add a routing module and I'll show you how it works. So first of all, I'll do ngGM, which is short for ng generate module. I'll zoom in for you if the screen is not zoomed in enough. And ngGM, and I'll write app routing. What that will do is that will create a router for us. It will create a router component module for us actually. And here it is. I'll just move it into the root of my application. I don't really need it inside a folder here. It depends on you. If you have preferences, you can keep it inside a folder, obviously. Now, this is our routing module. I don't really need common module in here. And don't worry, I'll explain everything there is to know about this particular module. I don't need declarations. I need an export. So the logic behind this is this module is responsible for declaring our routes and then exporting our routes. So it will export our routes, and the main module, which is also called the app module, will actually take its routes from our routing module. So just to give you an overview again, routing module will declare our routes. The main module will get our routes from this routing module. Okay. So first thing, we need to go to the app module and import this routing module. There you go. We have imported our app routing module into the app module. So now our application should have some routes, but we haven't really declared any routes here. So let me create a constant. We'll basically create an array of type routes. And let's just make an empty array right now. And here we have to write and here we will basically now import the routing module and finally export it to our application. So for that, the name is router module, I guess. Yeah, router module. There you go. I actually forgot that for a second. So which is router module, and then we'll also pass in the routes we just created. Although it's an empty array right now, but we will fill some data in later. So we have our router module. We have now for root is basically just we are just telling it that it is for our root application. And here are our routes, which is an empty array again, but we'll also export the same router module. So basically, if you try to understand it, I know it can be a little complicated to understand, but eventually, whenever you create a new Angular application, this file will be there for you already. You don't have to create this file. I'm creating this file just to explain you guys how it really works behind the scenes. Because what's happening here is it is actually creating declaring its routes in an array. Then it's importing the router module to basically register those routes in our root application. In the end, we export this router module, which now has our array of routes. And our app module get those routes and build them inside our application, use them inside our application. Okay, so that if that was not complex enough, what I want to do is I want to create my first route now. And that should be pretty straightforward. I can say my path, because every route has a path. So I will say if there's nothing in my path, if it's kind of an empty path, or there's nothing written after 4200, for example, 4200 slash 500 slash ABC XYZ, whatever. I want to go to a component named, let's say, navigation component. Okay, so what I just did over there is I said if there's nothing written over here, please go to the navigation component, and that's it. So if I now write anything after my localhost 1400, let's see what happens. I get an error. It says it doesn't really match any route. Well, that's interesting, but hold on. We'll explore a few more things. What I want to do is I want to be able to use my navigation component as kind of a master, or main component, which will actually render all my routes, because navigation component has the header, has the sidebar. So I want it to be always there, and I want to load all the routes inside my navigation component. So for that, I'll just create a new component and I'll call it dashboard, because this is really the dashboard of our application. If to be honest, the coin of the day, the cryptocurrencies list, this is really the dashboard of our application. So I'll do ngGC, which is again short for ng generate component, and I'll write dashboard. Okay, so now I have generated the dashboard component. I have all the files. What I will basically do is I'll replace this with dashboard component, because this is the dashboard of our application, right? Let's clear this and let's go back to our application. Nothing really changed here. Now my dashboard component doesn't really have all this information, but how is it rendering the dashboard component? Well, it is actually my fault. If I go back to the app component, you see I am adding navigation component by default, and I don't really want that. So what I'll do is I'll inside my navigation component, which is over here. This was our main code, right? This is the actual logic, the actual look and feel of our dashboard. So here I'll do, rather than writing dashboard component, because I want this to be dynamic, I'll write router outlet. Router outlet basically means that whatever route is being loaded based on my logics written in this file, I want to display that component itself. So if I'm going to XYZ component, that would be displayed inside. If I'm going to page not found, that would also be displayed inside. So my sidebar and header are now static, are fixed, and anything I do will be displayed inside this area over here. Okay, so what I can now do is I can now go to my dashboard component actually and just paste the coin of the day and crypto prices. Voila, that looks pretty good, right? Now we are actually, it looks pretty much the same, but the logic behind this right now is that this is a navigation component, and whatever is loaded inside it is not actually fixed. It is based on what route we are going to. And just to prove that to you, if I still go to another page, like a random page, you will see I get an error. It says it cannot match any route. But now nothing was really loaded here because it doesn't say that we have to go to the dashboard component anymore. It says I want to match a component to my route based on my router file, and I did not find anything. So I'll throw an error, and my application would essentially fail. And you don't really want that, right? You want to give your user a good error message that this page does not exist or something like that. Or maybe you also want to forcefully go back to your dashboard. Maybe that's the way you want to proceed. Anyways, I'll create a component right now which will basically say that this page does not exist or page not found, something like that. So for that, I'll create another component by the same methodology, nggc, and I'll say page not found. Okay, now I'll go to my app routing component and I'll declare that path. Now this path is called as wildcard. This is our wildcard route because, and this is displayed with 2 stars because we are saying it can be anything. It can be /123, it can be /124, it can be XYZ, it can be localhost 4200 / crypto / Bitcoin / 500. It can be really anything, and there's no fixed route that we can listen to. So we'll just say if it's a wildcard route, if it doesn't match any of the routes given in our file, then load page not found component. And inside my page not found component, I'll just display a heading. I'll say page not found. Sorry. Let's see what happens now. Now, if I go to this page, I say page not found. Isn't it pretty great? And it was pretty easy to do, right? Once you get the hold of how the routes work, this is pretty easy to do. Now, just to show you a caveat or something to take care about, if I actually paste this route over this one, what do you guess will happen now? Even if I go back to my localhost 4200, I will always see page not found. Can you guess what's the reason for that? Well, in Angular, we have first come first basis registration for the routes. So this route basically means anything that matches me, go to page not found, right? So we will never really reach this empty path route. If I write this over, now what I'm essentially saying is, if you have an empty path, go here. If you don't have any of the routes that is matching in my routes array, then finally just go here to the page not found component. So it's a first come first basis. That's very important to understand. So we have actually achieved a lot, and I'm pretty happy about it. And if you have any questions, let me know. But basically, if I write anything over here, I see page not found. And if I click and I go back to my application, that's working pretty well. Now, the next thing I want to do right now is I actually want to be able to display. I actually want to be able to click here and go to another page, right? So let's finally do that. That is the fun stuff. So this time I'm going to create a lazy loaded route. And if you don't know lazy loading, well, don't really worry about it. We have already created a video for you in which we explain lazy loading in detail, right? And if you haven't seen that already, please do. Lazy loading is a very important concept for computer science or any kind of front-end framework, really. And it will really take your learning to another level, because without lazy loading, there's no good front-end application that can now exist without lazy loading. And we actually have a video on it, and I'll display it to you right now. There you go. So this is our lazy loading video, lazy loading with Angular 11. Right now we are using Angular 12, but lazy loading didn't really change much since I created this video. And here we explain everything there is. We explain what is lazy loading, the concepts. Now those concepts would be same in React, Vue, or any other programming framework you're using. And we explain what is lazy loading in simple words. What should you lazy load, like pages, images, etc. Angular implementation, real world example. And we have a lot of good stuff in this video. So don't forget to see this video before you move forward with your lazy loading route. But for now, I'll just create it in front of you so that you can just get a basic idea of how we can create them. So right now, all of my routes are eagerly loaded. So I'll just create a lazy loaded example for you. So for that, I'll do nggm. This time I'm not doing nggc because I want to create a module which will have a component which is lazy loaded. Now, again, this might sound overwhelming, but I'll try to explain this. If not today, then in the future live sessions, we'll be exploring this feature more and more, and you will be able to understand better. And again, I do recommend you to watch the video I just displayed on my screen. So NGGM, and I'll say crypto details. And now I have to also give the route. So route is, and I also tell it the module. So basically what I'm saying is I want to create a module and I want the route to be crypto and its parent should be the app module. So let's see what it changed over here. So it basically created a path, as you mentioned, crypto. It also created a route, and it also added that route over here. Now, we don't understand what is load children. We don't really understand what's happening over here. But in the end, just to explain it to you in simple terms, whenever we see this path crypto, I'm basically loading this module. And if I go to this module, this has a routing module of its own. And there you go. We have the same path. We have a path and we have a component. So whenever I go to slash crypto, I should load crypto details component. So that is essentially what's happening in the background. If you want to learn more, as I said, please visit and see that video. But this time, I want to do something different, but we'll go to that soon. First of all, I want to be able to click on any of my crypto price and go to the actual page. So for that, I'll go to my crypto prices. And this is basically the list of our navigation. And I'll just add a router link. Now, this is how you go to different routes in Angular. I can write router link and I can write crypto. So now if I click on any of these, you see I go to the crypto route and I also load the crypto details component. So it's working pretty well, but there's one problem. If I click on any of them, how will I actually know which one I did click on, right? If I click on Ethereum, it's the same page, same route. If I click on Dogecoin to the moon, it's the same page, same route. So something doesn't seem right over here. If I click on Polkadot, it's still the same thing. Bitcoin, same thing. So how will my application actually know that I'm going to a different route every time I click on a different cryptocurrency? Well, router link is just telling which route to go to, but actually, I can actually pass an array. And I can say, I want to go to crypto. Or I can actually keep on using the same. Let's see what I can do here. I can add an array. I can go to crypto. And then I can go to my actual crypto.s. If you remember, this crypto is coming from here, and in the S we have the symbol, we have the name, we have the price, we have the market cap, we have the percent change in last 24 hours. So we have all that information. So what I'm saying is I want to go to crypto/crypto.s, which is basically the symbol of the cryptocurrency. So if I click here, I'm going to crypto/BTC. If I click here, I'm going to crypto/ETH. If I click on Dogecoin, I'm going to crypto/Doge. Now, that is good. My route is now somehow handled, but my page not found component is now giving an error. And let's understand why is that. If you carefully see, we do have the crypto route, which is working fine as we saw before, but that's it. We don't have anything after it. So if I write crypto/Doge, let's see if it works now. So if I click here, crypto detail works. I'm able to go inside the Dogecoin. But if I go back and I click on BTC, I still see page not found. So there has to be some way which this can be dynamic. This ETH or BTC or Doge in my route has to be somehow variable, right? It can't really be constant like this. So for that, don't worry, Angular got you handled. We can just do a colon and then ID, which basically means, or actually this is the name of the variable. So we can write crypto name or anything we want can be added here. For now, I'll just write ID. So it's essentially saying that after crypto, we can have anything. So now if I go here, if I click on Bitcoin, it still works. If I go back and click on Ethereum, well, pretty much still works. If I click on Dogecoin, it works as well. But if I write slash and I write this is still a invalid page. This is still an invalid page. There is no route matching this, but essentially I can write Doge as all the gibberish over here, but it still works because it says whatever you write after crypto will be accepted as long as it's the same route. We can't go another level. That would be an error, and that would give us page not found. So I hope that somehow you are able to understand what I'm trying to really convey here. We are able to pass IDs, we are able to have a page not found component, and we are able to do a lot of stuff with our routing. And let me know in the comments down below if you have any questions. I'll be very happy to answer them. But just to explain you a little, I'll just give you a little background on what lazy loading does for us. Well, if you really see over here is the main.js file, which is actually the root data, the root of our application. It is about 39 kbs, right? Okay, that's not bad. But now if I click here, I see a crypto details component being loaded, which is of 6.2 kbs. So this means it was lazy loaded, because if it was not lazy loaded, what would have happened is this 6.2 kbs would have been loaded when my application first loads. Now imagine, let's say you have an application with hundreds of pages. Page number one is, let's say, the login component or contact us or maybe about us page, and a user just wants to visit that. What's the best way? Now you tell me the answer. If the user goes to the contact us page, do you want your 100 pages to download first and then load the about us page, or you want to load the about us page first and then load rest of the pages of your application in the background? Obviously, the second option is much better because you don't really want to wait for your whole application to load to just show one page. And that is what we are doing with our lazy loading over here. If I refresh now, you see that my crypto component was loaded over here, right? And if I go back and I do a refresh, now my crypto component was not really loaded. And that is great. It will only be loaded when I go to that page. And we can use different routing strategies, different loading strategies. We can actually load the page in the background when user is not really doing anything, because that also saves time. Let's say the user is reading this page and is not really doing any operation. Well, you can load rest of the pages in the background to give him or her a better user experience. But what I'm doing really here is I'm just saying whenever I need to load that route, just load it then. Whenever I need to see the page, just load that module over then. So if I now click on Ethereum, my crypto details component, which is about roughly 6 kbs, is finally downloaded. So I hope that gives you a little clarity about on what lazy loading is and why it is very important, especially in heavy applications. And routing is really a big topic, and I'll break it into two videos. Today we have covered a lot of things. We have created wildcard routes. We have covered how to create a routing module. We have covered how to export routes and use them in our actual application. We have seen a brief introduction on lazy loading, and we have also seen how to create dynamic routes with IDs or variables in their path. And I hope you learned something today. And if you did, please don't forget to hit the like button. Ask your questions if you have any in the comments down below. Don't hesitate. We try to answer each and every comment whenever we can. And we usually take less than 24 hours to answer your questions. As always, the GitHub page is here. You have all the code that I just showed you already on the week 4 branch. So if you want to do that, just go through the week 4 and you will be able to find the code that you're looking for. And as always, we will meet you next week. Next week, we'll go deep dive into routing a little more. We'll actually see how to get data from this route. This ETH, we'll get this route, we'll get the data from here, and then we load the component based on the cryptocurrency. So if it's Ethereum, I'll display more details about Ethereum, maybe the chart. And if you go back and click on Bitcoin, I'll be able to show you Bitcoin and its data. So it will be really fun. We'll do a lot. We'll cover a lot of concepts. So again, hit the like button, share the video to your friends who are looking for jobs or who want to learn Angular. And until next time, bye-bye.